Welcome back, adventurers, to another Barefoot Doctors episode. This week, you're in for a treat as the president of HH Catamarans, Seth Hynes, takes us all for a tour of the very first HH44 on the market. Sit back and enjoy all this innovative, award-winning boat has to offer. He explains about the eco-drive with parallel hybrid electric engines and hydro regeneration that does actually work. So kick off your shoes and come barefoot with us. We are John and Ali, the Barefoot Doctors, sailing and travelling around the globe. Join us as we share the adventure and explore the beauty of the world. 'Cause life is better barefoot.
Hi Seth.
Hi.
Really nice to be in the HH44. It's breaking ground everywhere.
Yeah, this is hull number one.
Obviously everybody's seen the Wynns and they're 44.
It does seem that way, yes.
So tell us about the features of the 44 and why it's such a great boat.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming aboard. This is our HH Catamarans HH44, so this is our newest model. We started with a 66 and came down to a 55 and then a 50. All those boats won Boat of the Year. And then this is our latest model, the newest boat of the year, the HH44.
Wow, that's a good record.
Yeah, it is so far. We like that, and we hopefully will continue that with our next model, which is the 52, which is kind of a bigger version of this. But I describe this boat as really kind of the second generation for HH. As a company, we're 12 years old. HH stands for Hudson and Hakes, the co-founders of the company. And those first three boats were fantastic. But this fourth model of ours, we're really taking a new eco approach, and as we'll talk about, we have hybrid electric drives and an immense amount of solar, and we kind of built the boat from the ground up with that idea in mind, and that's really what's important. You can't take an existing design and electrify it. You really need to start from the ground up with that concept.
It's a 44-foot boat, obviously. What's the weight?
It's 9,500 kilograms.
Okay.
It has a max displacement load of up to 15,000 kilograms, so you have a lot of carrying capacity.
Okay.
And it's designed to be a performance catamaran. Much in the HH DNA. We really look at building a very streamlined hull, as efficient through the water as we can, so that it sails really well in light air. There's a misconception that performance cats are all about going 23 knots, which this boat has done down a wave, but it's not about that. It's about really sailing when no one else can, and when it's the most enjoyable.
You have carbon boats and you have the OC boats, is that correct?
Actually, on the 44, both models are about 50% carbon fiber, so we use the same hull for both.
Right.
What really differentiates the SC, the sports cruising version, versus our ocean cruising version, really is these Daggerboards that are behind you. We have mini keels that come with the ocean cruising version, which are much like a Daggerboard. They're not keels you can rest the boat on, but they're very skinny and efficient, much like a surfboard fin, or the Daggerboards, which you can adjust and move up and down. So that differentiates the two. Yeah, both boats would be a draft of about 1.5 meters, and that's mostly based on the rudder depth. Exactly. And but with this board all the way down, the draft goes down 3 meters.
Yeah, but
so the Daggerboards are quite immense.
But then it performs well upwind.
Yeah, very well upwind. So this boat should sail upwind just like a model. So quickly, the OC version would come with the mini keels instead of the Daggerboards. It would come standard with an aluminum mast, and it would come with a fiberglass longeron and an aluminum crossbeam. You can upgrade an OC to have the carbon mast and the carbon longeron, which comes standard on the sports cruising model. But the only thing you cannot add is the Daggerboards. That's really what is the differentiator between the two. And then there's a few other changes too. We add carbon rudders to the sports cruising model too. So really, we're building a boat that you could push incredibly hard, and we're making sure that it's going to last. The boat is quite indestructible. So they're both cruising boats. The sports cruising one is just built a little bit more robustly, and of course, with all that extra carbon comes a cost. So it really depends on what you want. It's still, the OC is still a great performance cruising boat, which is why the Wynns have chosen it. But at the same time, if you're the type of buyer that buys the P95 Tesla, maybe the sports cruiser is the boat for you. The mini keels come with the wings. It's interesting. What they're designed to do, actually, much like an airplane wing, is reduce the vortex. And since you have two, the vortices that come off of the mini keels. So it reduces drag when you're going upwind. And they work really well. And we have Morelli Melvin to thank for that. Morelli Melvin designed all the appendages on this boat and all the rest of the range of the HH boats.
You don't have a dolphin striker?
Well, we don't need to, because we have the Seagull striker. I love these names, but structurally the striker is holding the mast down, and then the sails are
down.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then the sails are obviously trying to pull the cross beam up. So as long as we have this immensely strong carbon fiber structure, we have a very, very strong rig. And it really showcases the production capability of HH and the carbon manufacturing, because we build this in-house.
The one thing I think people wouldn't really be aware of is, though, if you don't have the dolphin strike, and when you're at anchor with your bridle, they often get in the way when you're mooring because they interfere with your bridle.
Yes, this is why we use carbon. It's so strong, and you can build things a little bit more sleekly.
The other features from up here, obviously, are these wonderful opening windows, which creates a huge amount of airflow through the boat.
Yeah. I mean, what we say really is, we're trying to build a boat with no corners cut. As a cruiser, you can appreciate how incredible this would be, having that airflow through the boat. You're inside in the shade. And in the tropics, I've been there. you really wish your hatches could be a little bit bigger.
That's right.
And we actually build this. This is a big custom carbon frame around a Lumar glass window. It operates really simply, closed and open, and the struts hold it open. Okay. And it's just a really nice feature. And again, the boat's been built obviously with this idea in mind. Yeah. And they have to be very strong, because and that's really another reason to go glass over plastic. It's actually an area where there's quite a bit of weight in glass, but this is somewhere where, again, we're not building a race boat. We're trying to build the ultimate cruiser. So, this is where it's worth spending the money in the weight. Whole boat, even in the hulls, are tempered like automotive style glass, and they're not going to craze and crack over time. These will last forever.
So the curved Daggerboards are carbon fiber, and they're so strong you can take the weight. Is that correct?
Yeah, a little bit. These are actually pre-preg carbon fiber, so we'd be the only boat here that would have pre-preg carbon fiber Daggerboards, and they are C-shaped. And there's a couple advantages to that. One is that when they are fully deployed, they do actually give the boat a little bit of lift. So there's about 1 ton of displacement at about 10 to 12 knots that would be reduced from the displacement of the 9,500. So it does help you with your boat speeds. Yeah. It's not flying you in the air, which we don't. No. Oh, and the other major advantage is if they're straight, then they really take up an enormous amount of hallway space. So as we go downstairs, you'll see that you can barely notice them in the cabin.
And these are easy to pull up and down?
Yeah, if they're loaded, any Daggerboard is hard. So you would want to do it between tacks. And we have line drivers as an option on the boat. So you literally just hit up on one and down on the other.
And that's a continuous line.
As you're tacking, it just does both.
Yeah, okay.
Your draft would be 1.5 meters right now.
Oh, I see, okay.
Our owners can pick between metric or imperial, whatever, and what colors they want. We can do black Daggerboard or even a clear coat that shows off the carbon weave, which is a nice feature. Depends on how much bling you want to show. So what we have here is really interesting, and I really think it is the future of yachting, and I expect a lot of boats in the future will have a feature just like this. Serial hybrids have been around for a long time, so that would be taking diesel energy and putting that into a battery, and then the battery propelling the boat with an electric motor. And so that's a series of events. And the problem with that system is if anything happens along the way, now you're a dead ship. So if you have an electrical problem, obviously you can't drive the boat. If you have a diesel problem, you can't charge your batteries, you can't drive your boat. What's really unique and nice about a parallel hybrid system is that these two features will work in parallel. So you have an option to either drive the boat with a traditional diesel engine. This is a 30 horsepower Beta Marine engine, and that can drive the shaft. Or you can choose the electric motor. So this is a 10 kilowatt electric motor that via a belt can drive the shaft. And so because these two systems are next to each other but independent, you really have incredible redundancy. So on this boat you'd have two ways to spin this prop, two ways on the other side. And it really is a blue water cruiser, gives you a lot of options. Okay, so that's propulsion, but then there's some other modes as well. So we can now use the shaft spinning if the propellers stay open. You can choose whether or not you want folding or fixed feathering propellers. Particularly the feathering propellers stay open and they're very rigid. That will continue to spin the shaft. And because we use a hydraulic gearbox, that there's no problem with the shaft spinning indefinitely. And when this electric motor is connected to that shaft, it realizes, oh, okay, I'm spinning, I can create electricity. And so now it's creating 48 volts of electricity to our 48 volt battery bank. So now you have a hydro generation capability. And then when you're at anchor, if your power's low and the sun isn't out and your 4,200 watts of solar are charging your batteries, now you can disengage the shaft, just run the diesel engine at a high RPM in neutral. And then that spins this as well through that belt. So this becomes a 5 kilowatt generator. And then because you have two of them, you now have 10 kilowatts of generator power on a very small HH44 sailboat. So it has an immense number of capabilities.
And what prop do you use?
We're actually testing a whole bunch of props. So we're learning now that we launched this boat actually with one folding gory and one feathering hydroline.
To test them out.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we've learned that the hydroline gets roughly about 60% more hydro generation. But the difference with the gory is kind of, for lack of a better description, more of a scooped shape.
Yeah.
And so that actually allows you a faster propulsion speed. So we're now about to put on this boat next week a new propeller called AWOL, EWOL. And those are stainless steel, and we should be able to get a little bit more performance out of both. And then, the option is to upgrade, the diesel engine. So we're all now offering a 40 horsepower Yanmar in addition to our 30 horsepower Beta. So if you want the best of everything, if you want to be able to motor fast and have the feathering props and do great hydro generation, then there's an option for that.
The feathering props should work better for hydro generation.
Feathering is better because once they're open, they're fixed. They can't fold.
It doesn't flop backwards.
Right,
yeah.
and the gories can fold on us. There is a system here actually that measures 30 times a second. How much drag is actually on the propeller, so it can maximize the hydro generation. But you surf down a wave, it doesn't maybe always get it right. But the question is, how much drag can you apply? Because when you put it in reverse, they fold. So how much drag can you apply? Obviously, a feathering prop that's fixed, you can drag it harder.
So you said 5 kilowatts on either side.
Yep.
Is that right?
That's correct.
And
as generator power, and then 10 kilowatts is propulsion.
Okay.
We're about to release some graph data.
Right,
It's far exceeded our expectations.
Okay.
It's we never really made a whole lot of claims on what you would get from the hydro generation and how important that would be in the aspect, because the generator mode is very valuable.
It is.
But to create that much power when you're sailing has been a really amazing benefit. That's why I think it's the way of the future.
Yeah. At 12 knots, it goes up as high as 1.5 kilowatt per side.
Right. It's insane. You're
That's at 12 knots.
Very, very happy as a cruiser how much power you
exactly.
can create. If you've changed the oil in the back in the tropics, you love the idea of all this room and changing the oil in the air conditioning cabin. So that's a nice feature too. Yeah, and you're right. There's two. There's actually two helms, one on the starboard side, one on the port side, and these are really clever. So it's just a very simple Jeffa steering system, and we can swing the helm to either side. We actually put this system on our very first boat, R6, which is our HH66. It's very solid, locks in place, and you got it. Away you go. And the whole point of the system is, we've moved the biminis down. So on a lot of our older boats, we had raised helms, and those are great for visibility. And there's always a pro and con with naval architecture, but with the idea of building this with electric in mind, how much solar can we fit up there? And by moving the helm stations down, now there's obviously the space that the helm took up, but also the lines that used to run to the helm no longer run along the top of the coach roof. So now the whole coach roof can be used for solar. And so now we have 4,200 watts up there. We moved the Traveler up so we can even extend the coach roof even further aft, which also has the benefit of shading and protecting the cockpit. But now the question is, well, how can you address maybe the concern or the thoughts of visibility? So one, how do you see sail trim? Right now I can literally see the boom, the entire mainsail, all my telltales, my head sail, and I can do all my trimming adjustment with the helm out. But if I want to get out of the sun and the rain, all I have to do is flip this in. And now I can steer from the comfort of this central sofa with great visibility through the boat. And then if I'm coming into the marina, perhaps I'd prefer it right here in the middle. I've got my throttles, and I can sit quite high even on this bench and get a little bit more of an elevated view. And then the other neat feature with electric motors is we now have DockMate, so you can actually dock with a remote control. So now I'm here with my dock line. I've got great visibility over the whole boat, and I'm just driving in with the immediate sort of thrust and all the torque of an electric motor. So it's technology with the batteries, with the remotes. It all really allows us to kind of do things we've never been able to do before. It's the $1,000 option on our price list.
$1,000 option. Oh, is that all?
It's a no-brainer.
Yes, please.
So here we see how all the lines lead to the aft cockpit, with 2 winches on either side, and then the lines run down a slot down behind the seats, which can be removed to have good access of all your lines. This helps to keep the aft cockpit nice and clear of lines and neat and tidy.
There's a couple features here to talk about. We've got a seat if you want to sit down. There's a cushion that flips around, and that would turn this into kind of more of a leaning post.
Okay.
When the transoms are up, which I can show you in a second, you wouldn't maybe want to drop them all the time when you're coming into an anchor. So if we've added this nice feature. This is an option to have side pocket doors. They work really well, and the nice feature of this is, again, as a cruiser, if you're in an anchorage where you want to kind of keep your boat locked up while you're away, you can keep both transoms up, bring your dinghy to the side, and then you're just exiting on and off with your dinghy. And it's super easy to leave the door just ajar or just to even lock that. Okay, so the transom just comes up like that. Very easy. Simple.
Nice.
Yeah. And then that's when your pocket doors come into play, and if you just want to drop that, just take 2 turns off the winch. Very simple system. It's so clever, we wonder why no one's ever done it before.
It's very good. So even just the little things that, when you're a liveaboard, you notice these things, and it sounds small, but it's very important. But even the roundness of the cushions, the comfort, the opulence that you feel. A lot of cushions, they just make them square, and they're quite hard, where these are actually very, very soft and comfortable. It's beautiful.
What we do first and foremost is try to design a great blue water sailing boat, but now how much luxury can you fit into it? And that's really where HH kind of shows its mastery, because by building in Asia, we build these boats in the Philippines and in China. We have so much labor hours that we can throw into the boat versus a lot of our competitors, that we can do things like a phenomenally high quality table. This is our very modern sky interior. So these are Korean waterfall counters. The fit and finish throughout the boat is something that we're really proud of. Our whisper walls, these are very lightweight but hollow ceiling panels, and just the whole feel of the boat. From the leather stitching around all of the mullions and around these details, it adds a bit of softness to what could otherwise be a very aggressive manly boat. And especially for me, I'm 6'4", the ceiling heights throughout the boat, walking through the door and not having to duck. Having the ability for me to be able to see the horizon all the way through while standing is phenomenal. And then the same obvious thought has been thought about when you're sitting. It really is, again, with that glass we talked about earlier, a really light and airy boat. This was designed really for a couple that may have kids or friends come and visit, but for a cruising couple full time, there's an incredible amount of space inside and out, and it's kind of my dream cruising yacht. You can have the table fold into a coffee table and lower into a bed. Same with the outside table. And then we have 5 different design packages you can pick and choose from. So this is obviously very modern, but we can go somewhere in the middle with Scandinavian look, or even more traditional with like a nice warm, cherry wood.
And what material is this?
This is our Mustang sill leather. It's a great material, actually, mostly because it doesn't let any water in, and you can take a squeegee when they're wet and just wipe them dry in one swipe. Obviously an electric kitchen as well, so you've got a 4-burner electric Bosch stove and then a convection microwave oven combo. So down here we have the owner's hall. Again, I'm 6'4", plenty of headroom even down here, which is great. Queen size bed. Again, that stitching and those materials, those soft materials, kind of continue throughout the boat. Real glass windows, and then the large aft glass windows, kind of a hallmark of HH. You bring all that light into this room. This really could be a room that you'd easily come down here and read a book in, which not all boats you could say that. And then of course, if you're trying to sleep and it's light out, all of our boats do come with blackout blinds in the hulls. And then if you have air conditioning as a feature, which this boat does, the air conditioning just pours, kind of waterfalls over the top of this. So there aren't any plastic air conditioning vents or anything like that. And speaking of air conditioning, you can close off this hull entirely, and so that allows you to run the air in here and keep all that cool air inside. And on this battery bank, you could actually run your air for 4 straight days, day and night, without needing to recharge the battery. Our second boat, the owner, he runs the air conditioning all night long throughout the whole boat, and he says that he only loses about 30% of his batteries overnight. And so the ability to run your air without a generator is kind of a game changer. There are MG batteries from the Netherlands, and so they have a dedicated BMS for the marine environment.
Phosphate.
Yeah, lithium phosphate, very safe. But in the hallway you have 4 different hanging lockers, you've got a large washer and dryer combo, and then of course this is your head with a large sink, and then my favorite feature is a very tall shower. And actually, one unique feature we have on our boats as well is we have a recirculating valve here. So when you turn your water on, you can actually recirculate it right away so that it pumps the water back to the main water tank. Oh. And then you know, a minute later, the hot water finally gets there. You're not watching all that water you've to spend all this energy to go down the drain. So yeah, we're saving water and energy that way as well.
Going down into the starboard guest hull, we find a queen double, the same as in the master cabin, with large windows and lots of light streaming in. Up forward there's another double berth, and the two cabins share a head and a shower. And like elsewhere in the boat, it's all done with excellent carpentry and superb finishing off.
Thank you very much for coming aboard. I hope you guys enjoyed the tour of our hull one of our HH44. We've sold 39 of these, one more yesterday, so
well done.
There'll soon be a fleet of these on the water, and hopefully lots of happy owners.
It's such a dramatic change from previous designs from HH and with these low-down helms, and it's wonderful for us to come on board and actually see how it works. This is an absolutely wonderful boat, and congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you guys for coming aboard.
Thanks,
it's a pleasure.
Enjoy the show.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So, honey, what did you think?
Look, this HH44 is a really nice boat. HHs have been on the market for a while, so they know their stuff.
12 years.
12 years, and they have progressively added more and more features. So simple things like recycling the water from the shower, going straight back into the tanks, that's a really nice touch. But the green energy, regen from their props and all that. A light boat, sails well, thin hulls.
And the finish is
The finish is absolutely wonderful.
Quality is there, the stitching, the finishing off of all the soft interior is just outstanding. They've thought of so many wonderful features and concepts and put them all together over that period of time, and it really is a lovely boat.
Yeah, and then of course the helm station low down is the first boat they've done it on, and that gives them certain advantages, and there's always a playoff. So they've got more solar on the roof, and they've got the rotating helm position to be able to get out of the weather. It is a very innovative design, and it's a really nice boat.
It actually feels quite spacious for a 44.
Yeah.
Feels very roomy, light. Of course, they've got lots of light streaming in through the windows. All in all, it's a lovely, lovely vessel.
Congratulations, HH.
Well done, guys.
Fantastic boat.
Thanks for joining us on this journey, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to be a part of an exciting way to save lives around the world, join our Patreon family and get up close and personal with us.